Welcome everyone. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews, and I am your literary ambassador. And today I have Sheena Binkley on my channel. Today, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
All right, tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, well, I am of course, a romance author. I write in various genres, from contemporary to new adult, interracial. I have been writing for, I want to say maybe like 6 years now, about to go on 7. I have a lot of books on Amazon, so I think close to 40 now. So if you haven't read any of my books, then of course check them out on Amazon. It's like a variety of different stories and everything for you to choose from.
All right. Have you ever thought about writing in another genre?
Actually, I have. I kind of want to do towards like Christian fiction. That's pretty much the only thing that I have been considering towards is mainly just Christian fiction.
All right, let's talk about your books now.
All right. Okay. So, well, I do have a couple of books with me right now. I am currently writing on a book that is going to be coming out in April. It's actually a continuation to one of my series, Into You. So, and I'm also kind of starting on another book, which I hope will be out on my birthday. So, which will be July 5th.
Oh, okay.
And then also part of a series as well.
Okay. And the books you have with you right now that you would like to share?
Oh, yes. One of my books is, well, actually, this is the first book that I wanted to actually show. It's actually going to be the book that I'm mentioning about for that I'll probably be releasing on my birthday, which is Reclaiming What Is Mine. So I wrote this book probably about 5 years ago. So, but I actually kind of want to start back with the characters and actually release another book regarding them. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but.
Okay, there you go, yes.
So that is, it was supposed to be a standalone, but like I said, I kind of wanted to continue with the characters and see where they've been since the last time, 5 years ago. So I decided to go ahead and start on another book with the same characters.
Okay. And what's your other book? You got another?
My other book is, now this is actually a spin-off to one of the series that I have first started on. This is actually a spin-off from Love, Life, and Happiness. It's called Real Love. It's mainly just about the characters. They're kind of growing up into, I guess, going like more into the real world, because of course Love, Life, and Happiness is like a college or new adult series. So this is kind of like focusing on two of the characters as a married couple that's trying to go venture into their new jobs and basically into their new lives, because they moved to another city and they just trying to readjust to everything. So this is actually one of my favorite books. I do love this book. But
I love your covers. Now,
thank you.
Do you get inspiration from your covers and your titles?
Now, as far as with the covers, I kind of based on, of course, the story, how the story will go, and I kind of just go from there with that. With Real Love, I kind of just based it off of the first book of the Love, Life, and Happiness series, because with that one, it's kind of similar in a way. So that's why I kind of wanted to recreate that image from Love Unbroken, which was the first book, to Real Love. So that's kind of how that one went. But majority of my stories and the covers, it's kind of just based off of the stories. And it kind of gives like the readers an idea of what to expect. So I always kind of just feel like with covers, it kind of just gives you like a little image of how things would go in the stories.
Okay. What is your take? What do you want readers to take away when they read your books?
Well, majority of my characters, I kind of just want readers to relate to them. I try to have them go through real life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So when reading any of my books, I kind of do throw in a little bit of real life experiences. It could be from my life, it could be from someone else's life that I know, or it could just be things that's maybe just currently going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just want readers to just, just read a story and say, oh, okay, I can relate to her, or I can relate to him, or I can relate to the situation. So that's hopefully something that I hope readers can take when they read any of my stories.
How long does it usually take you to write a book?
Because I do have a full-time job as well. So on an average, maybe about 2 months, maybe a little longer, just depending on how my work schedule is. But it normally takes around that time frame, maybe like 2 to 3 months.
When did you know you wanted to be an author?
Well, actually, I started writing when I was 9. So it was kind of like a hobby at first, but then later on, I actually kind of want to just actually publish a book maybe about 7 years ago. At first, I didn't really think about releasing a book, but a lot of stuff was going on during that time. So I just feel like, you only have once in a lifetime to do something. So I just figured, why not just go ahead and just take a chance and actually release a book. And then I was only going to release one book, but after that, it just turned into a career.
Yeah. Okay, you said the age of 9. I have a 9-year-old, and he's written a couple of books, 2 in particular, or 3 in particular I can think of. And he got one put in his school library, one his teacher kept in her library, in her classroom, and the third one he just recently did. His brother went and got it bonded. What would you say to him or any child that's that age or a little bit older? What advice would you give them to continue on?
Okay. Well, I mean, for anyone, if it's a goal that you want to pursue, just keep going for it. Keep striving for it. Don't give up, because I know, especially in this industry, it can be a lot of things that can, make you kind of want to. But I feel like if it's a passion that you want to do, keep going for it, because it may be a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but it's all worth it towards the end. So just keep going.
Okay. How long have you been in the literary business?
It'll be 7 years in May. When I released my first book. So it'll be in May.
Okay. What inspires you to write?
Just a lot of, I have a lot of ideas in my head. So a lot of story ideas. So I think just being able to go from that, I think that's one of the inspirations that I do have. I could say maybe at work, and I could just say, oh, I got an idea in my head. So, it's just like different things that kind of keep me motivated. So I think that is one of the things, because I have a really creative imagination.
What has been the hardest thing about writing a book?
I wanted to actually find the time to write a book. Because as I mentioned before, I do have a full-time job. And, of course, with, everyday routines, family. I think that's kind of one of the, just trying to cram everything in. Just trying to find the time for it. And even if it's like late night, if I know I have to go to work the next day, but, I still try to find the time to write.
Yes.
So I think that is one of the biggest obstacles, just actually find the time to do it.
What do you do when you're not writing?
course, it's spending time with family, writing, not writing, but reading a lot of books. Of course, watching TV, catching up on TV shows because there's still a lot of TV shows I need to catch up on. Just spending time with with family and friends.
Okay, what are you currently reading right now?
Actually, nothing at the moment. I should be, but I did reread Reclaiming What Is Mine for, of course, research because I had to, with the character.
What attracts you to the genre that you're in?
Well, I'm a hopeless romantic, and majority of the stories that I have read growing up, of course, was romance books. Mm-hmm. So I think that was one of the reasons why I wanted to write romance novels, mm-hmm. because I love a happily ever after. So that's one of the main reasons what attracted me into the genre.
Okay. What do you consider to be your best accomplishment thus far as a author?
Actually, just publishing books is one thing. Just for readers that actually reading my books, that's an accomplishment in itself for me, because it'd be a lot of people that I'll be even surprised that are, like reading my book and like, oh, so like, I guess I'm still just kind of amazed that I am able to release books and that people are actually reading them. So I think that's one of the things that I'm still just in awe with, even though it's been a long time since I released my first book. So it's just still just that.
How do you feel about reviews, whether good or bad?
As far as reviews, a lot of times, sometimes, like if I do, I try not to read a lot of reviews, but when I do, I guess especially the negative reviews, it kind of does make me feel, I guess, a certain type of way. But everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So, if someone doesn't like my book, then, that's fine. It's like you did read my book, so I kind of, thank you for that. But, like I said, everyone has their own opinion. And sometimes I can't take kind of critique like from a negative review. Like if it's something that I kind of see stands out, sometimes I do take that and use that for my next story, as far as like, oh, it may not have been like a good storyline or the characters. And sometimes I do just take that and just maybe develop the next character a little bit better or something like that. So sometimes negative reviews, it does kind of be good advice.
How do you select your characters, or where are they inspired from?
Now, some stories that I have written, they are kind of from experiences that I have experienced throughout my life. Sometimes I can't just be thinking about, because like I said, I have a creative mind. So sometimes I could just be thinking about like a certain thing or a certain character, like, oh, okay, I can use that like for my next story. But sometimes it can be just based off of myself. So like some of the things that I may experience. So I think sometimes with characters, it's kind of either like a mix of real life and imaginary.
What do you think make a good story?
Oh, can you repeat that?
What do you think makes a good story?
I think what makes a good story is, I know for me, like when I do read like other stories, it kind of just puts me into the element of that story. If I can actually relate to that character or kind of put myself into that situation, with certain characters in a book, I think that would makes a good story for me. If I can take something away from that story, like toward the end, even though majority of the time it's fiction, but if it's like a certain situation or like relationships, if it like with the couple, if they going through something, if I can take something away from it, then I know then that yeah, it is a really good story.
And what projects are you working on right now?
I say I am currently working on the third book in the Into You series called The Right Kind of Love. It is based off of, I kind of want to say it's kind of based off my job a little, but it's not. But is that, and also like I mentioned, I am working on my second book from the Reclaiming What Is Mine series. And like I said, that's just following up on the characters and what they've been through after 5 years. So those are two books I am working on right now.
Okay. And how can readers get in touch with you?
Actually, they can go on social media. I do have a Facebook page. I may not be on as much, but I do be on, you know, when I do get the time. Also, you can Instagram, Twitter. I do have a blog that also that readers can go on, and of course Amazon. I have all my books there if y'all want to check them out, and which I hope y'all do.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add before we close?
Well, I mean, for everyone that is watching, I hope everyone is safe, especially during this time. And if y'all are, I hope y'all are catching up on some books. I can.
All right. I want to thank you for coming in today.
Okay, well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And again, this is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews. Reading. Bye, y'all.